Migrants attack police in Times Square. What's this about? Oh! What? This is crazy. One of these guys just threw a basketball at police officers, and apparently these are members of the Venezuelan gang Tren De Aragua. Here they are posting pictures of themselves in handcuffs on social media. Gang sign, gang sign. They look really young. And the New York Post goes on to say that not only are they teenagers, some of those arrested were part of the gang that attacked people in Central Park last summer.
They're reckless and as ruthless of a crew as we've seen.
And they're young, some as young as 11 years old. Police say they first targeted Central Park this summer, and now Times Square is their playground.
When you look at this group, core group of 20 individuals, this is their ground zero.
Assistant Chief of Detectives Jason Savino.
This should not be a surprise to anybody, but these guys have been recruited by gang members for a specific reason. Their age helps them stay out of jail. Sources say that a 14-year-old was charged while a 12-year-old was taken into custody and released pending a family court hearing. So these criminals, they're all still back out there on the streets, and they've proven that they've got zero fear of law enforcement whatsoever. And that's because back in 2018, New York City changed the age of criminal responsibility to 18 years old, which means none of these people can be tried as adults. So what happens? They keep acting like children and nothing can stop them.
The NYPD's chief of detectives says undocumented criminals as young as 11 years old are carrying out retail robberies and committing crimes on scooters, snatching people's jewelry, watches, and cell phones at gunpoint and knife point. Over 300 incidents last year, more than 800 so far this year.
When we do make arrests and we're able to charge them on 4, 5, 6 incidents, when they go before a judge in New York City and their arrest record is run, they show no prior criminal history. They're released on their own recognizance.
So what's happening here is our justice system in New York is creating this problem. Nobody should be surprised that this kind of thing is happening because criminals do not get sent to jail. They feel invincible when they see law enforcement because they know the worst thing that's going to happen to them is they spend an extra few minutes of their afternoon in a police car before they get released and get to go back to the same place where this is all taking place. Now, this gang has been traced back to the Roosevelt Hotel, which is on 42nd Street. It's a former luxury hotel, which is apparently where these Tren De Aragua gang members first started recruiting underage members to go and commit crime with no fear of law enforcement whatsoever. Now, the gang that attacked police, recently, they've been traced back to the hotel near the Roosevelt, the Row Hotel, also a former luxury hotel, right in the middle of Midtown. Sometimes you'll see a police car outside, but since New York is a sanctuary city, we ban our police from going inside these places to police them and make them safer by tracking down criminals and tracking down on people who are bringing weapons into these places. The whole thing is ridiculous.
Some migrant mothers we spoke to say they fear their boys will be forced into the world of crime.
People have warned us to be careful with the child because they are recruiting younger children. It worries me a lot.
Arada Piera and her 11-year-old son Dylan live in a Manhattan migrant shelter.
We're afraid he will get recruited and they will force and manipulate him to...
So this is what happens when you tell the entire criminal underworld that they can come here and live in New York and nothing will happen to them. You've got gang members and violent individuals who are in these asylum shelters and who are recruiting young kids whose parents don't even want them to be criminals, but we don't do background checks. We're a sanctuary city. And to New Yorkers, whether you're a gang member or this little 11-year-old kid, you're looked at the same way. You're looked at as victims of an evil country called America and its horrendous immigration policies that won't let you just come here because you feel like it. And the fact that we're taking it easy on criminals is why stuff like this is happening.
The PD is working with its federal partners to curb the growth of the gang violence sprouting at some migrant shelters, spilling onto city streets, and in some cases, detectives say, even among migrant families who are also becoming targets.
What we're also seeing is the majority of the migrant community sometimes themselves are the victims of crimes. They're preyed upon by these gangs. And there's a reluctance to report it sometimes because they feel that that might get them deported or that might get them in trouble with the police.
Okay, so what have you heard time and time again from activists? You've heard that sanctuary cities are safer than regular cities because we protect everybody. Well, we're hearing from the police that a lot of the crime that takes place first in these communities full of people that might not even have permission to be in the country to begin with. And what happens? They don't report the crime, they underreport the crime, or worse, they don't report it because they're afraid that these gang members are going to get an easy punishment or no punishment at all from our law enforcement. They know that these criminals are going to get released if they report them, so why would you report them knowing that they're just going to come back and find you and get their own revenge? Here you have body camera footage of police officers confronting a group of what turned out to be Tren De Aragua gang members in front of a store that they were just robbing and in front of one of the city's asylum shelters. They're telling them to move along. It's a big group, and this guy in the yellow jacket right here, they try to take this guy down, but look at him. He's getting smart with the police. He says, "Don't put your hands on me." They eventually try to take this guy down, but he and his friends attack the officers. And that happens the moment they try to arrest this guy for impeding their investigation. A massive fight starts, and the police got attacked. Now, when did this happen? Look at the date on this. January 1st, 2024. That was a year and a half ago. And these were adults. And you know what? Several of them got released without bail. That sent a signal to the entire criminal underworld that no matter how old you are in this city, we're going to take it easy on you.
D.A. Bragg, why did you not ask for bail? Why didn't you ask for bail for these migrants? District Attorney Alvin Bragg trying to get away from questions about his decision to release 5 illegal migrants charged with assaulting 2 NYPD officers.
The reason they didn't ask for bail and let these guys go free is because to progressives, these are not criminals. Attacking police? Well, that's just what they're supposed to do. They're here in an evil society that's discriminating against them by not letting them legally live here. What do you expect them to do? The asylum seekers are the victims. That's what we're being told here in New York.
Releasing illegal migrants charged with assaulting 2 New York City police officers violently who have no ties to New York City, New York State, or this country. Do you think he did the right thing? And they're charged with felonies.
Anytime there's an assault on a police officer, which is a very serious offense, it is bail eligible and bail should be sought, meaning right now that they should be sitting in Rikers.
Okay, this is why Trump got elected, is because you have stupid decisions like this being made by activist judges, activist prosecutors that go against common sense. Releasing gang members, all it does is tell people who want to come here and commit crime that New York City is the best city in America to do it. Not only are we a sanctuary city that won't turn you over to ICE if you do something wrong, we won't even turn you over to jail. We'll just let you go because we don't even think it's your fault. But what's really alarming is that when New York City first found out about this gang of teenagers, they did not have a good answer for how they were going to stop these guys. Look at this.
Police say their crimes are becoming more brazen. The members even posting their weapons on social media. I mean, look at this picture. This is crazy. Joining us right now is the Assistant Chief, Jason Savino from the NYPD Detective Bureau. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for being with us.
What are you seeing on the streets of New York City? What's the problem?
Yeah, I mean, we have the same concerns. We look at those pictures, tremendously concerning. But right now, what we have, I like to call a perfect storm of sorts, where we have individuals tremendously brazen, absolutely ruthless, individuals that have committed a multitude of crimes with basically no repercussions. You know, so what started out as a robbery crew, upwards of 50 robberies, 20 individuals arrested for upwards of 50 robberies, and out of those 20 individuals, every single one of them is on the streets today.
That means that we don't have a law in this city that can actually stop these people. Since they're under 18, they're going to keep getting away with it. And the gang members that recruited them did this specifically because they know that they've basically got these super soldier criminals that nobody can stop. If they need to go out and steal stuff or shoplift, no problem. If they want a hit put on some rival, they can tell these guys to do it and they'll probably get away with it because they can't be tried as adults. The repercussions don't exist for these individuals because New York has removed criminal responsibility from them 100%. And to be honest with you, this is hard to listen to because you know that the Assistant Chief of Police wishes he could do something, but his hands are tied. The law says no.
That's crazy. Now, there are reports that they're operating the Roosevelt Hotel, which used to be a very nice hotel in New York City. Now it's a migrant shelter. What are we talking about? What's going on inside this hotel that is now spilling out into the Times Square area?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a recruitment process, and this is the first time we've seen structure with Tren De Aragua. Formerly, it was kind of scattered all over the place, but now we're seeing that structure where there's actually kick-ups, where people are recruiting these younger members as young as 11, and they've been described in some of these robbery incidents as young as 8 years old. And when they're arrested, like I said, virtually no repercussions.
Nothing's happening to them. Nothing happened to them 6 months ago, and that's why yesterday police were attacked in Times Square. It's horrible, and it's going to keep happening. What do you think about that? What do you think about this latest attack in Times Square? Do you think New York City is impervious to justice for minors because we've made their actions a complete wash as far as culpability is concerned, because they're too young to understand that when they were throwing things at police officers and attacking them in broad daylight, that they were doing the wrong thing? Let me know. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.